What's it like being back?
I mean, it's awesome, man, just to come back here and see all the spots I used to hit up and walk down Welch and just see how the building's changing. And, I mean, I like where the direction the team's going and the culture. Man, I'm excited to be here.
Ellis was kind of talking about how he sees some of the traits of Coach Campbell and some of the head coaches he's experienced, and thought he would transition well into that level of football someday if that's what he wanted to do. Do you kind of see some of that in Campbell too?
Yeah, Campbell's doing a great job. I mean, winning big games, got the culture, like I said, at a level I haven't even heard of or seen in a while. Man, it's just a great coach, and I wish I was, a part of something to be here with him, just to get coached by him. I mean, a lot of the young guys are really gravitating towards him, and he's doing a lot of good things. So, I mean, I'm just happy for Iowa State and for, the coach that's here and doing great things, man.
When's the last time you were back in Ames?
I probably was back here when Paul Rose was here. I came for a game, and I sat in the stands, watched the game. And unfortunately, we didn't win the game, but I mean, it was a good experience. Paul Rose showed me love, and then came back here, and just to see from Paul Rose to now is just the different change, and the quantum leap is phenomenal. I like it.
That's what I was going to ask: is how much from the last game you were at to now, how much have you seen, whether it's with the team or facilities or culture or things like that?
Everything is like night and day. I mean, the facilities changed, the stadiums changed. Like I said, culture changed. I mean, like I said, it's like the direction everybody's going is just. I mean, like you said, like I said, just winning big games and just watching. And I mean, I was going to have trouble here on out. So.
And I know it's tough for you because you're playing while they're playing, but how much are you able to kind of watch what's going on in a season or know kind of how the team is doing here?
I mean, I watch Iowa State a lot. Like I said, we have games on Sunday, so that Saturday we're just sitting there, just waiting around, getting ready for the game, and I'll just tune in and watch like Iowa State, Iowa game, or just whatever the big game on that week, and I'll root them on. But I'm tuning in every week.
Is there any players from your position that for Iowa State that really stood out that when you watch them you're like, wow, he'd be fun to play with?
The linebacker y'all had here, number 7, I mean, he was phenomenal. I mean, all the positions he could play, and like how you hear he was from here, he's a local guy, and how he's just like, versatile and just, like unselfish. And I mean, that's the kind of guy you want to play with, and you'll go to bat for, and you'll put it all on line for. So I thought that was pretty cool watching him as a fan.
Is it insane to look back on how your career transpired up until your senior season? I think you'd kind of flown mostly under the radar.
Yeah.
I guess, what was the turning point for you?
I mean, I'm still under the radar, or just I think of a turning point maybe when I got the chance to go to Seattle and finally, start going to playoff games and be on like a high caliber defense or a high caliber team. I mean, that's when I just felt like it was this is football. I arrived. You know what I mean? It was really fun to go to playoff and win games with Richard Sherman and play with Earl Thomas. And I had a great experience.
When did you feel like you popped on to the radar or had that turning point in terms of your college career where professional football was a realistic option?
I didn't really know I had a future in the NFL till after our last game, and Brett Meyer was on the bus with us, and his agent wanted to speak to me. He was like, hey, you have a possibility of playing in the league. So I got on the phone, and he was like, hey, we want to have you come out to New York. And I was like, yeah, I'll come to New York. And I just remember that whole experience, like, man, I could actually be an NFL player. Or I can actually, take it to the next level. So I just put all my eggs in the barrel, my eggs in the bucket, and just kept stepping and kept driving and made the best out of it, you know what I mean?
Is there anything about your experiences that you can kind of relate to those guys, and any kind of secrets or what it takes, I guess, to make it and have a long career in the NFL?
I mean, just to be a student of the game, just watch, football and watch how, plays develop, and just really just, get involved and enjoy it and love it. I mean, that's one of the things I was want to, express to the young guys is just, enjoy this moment, really enjoy being a football player and be a student of the game. And, I mean, everything else will take care of itself.
Seems like your process of building up through college was pretty significant. I mean, you start out at JUCO, you maximize yourself there, and then you do it here. Can you explain just how you were able to, take it up a notch every year, every game?
Right. I mean, in JUCO, I was D-line, then I went to O-line. I got recruited here as an O-lineman, and Mike Nelson and Mac, they wanted me to jump back on D-line. So, I mean, wherever they put me and whatever like opportunity I had, I just took full advantage of it, man. I just was so thrilled that I could come here. I fell in love with the city. It was snowing. From being from Florida, I didn't really see snow. So just for me getting recruited here and just Mac and the vibe and the love he was giving, I mean, it was a no-brainer. I wanted to come here, and I came here, and I made the best out of it. And, I mean, I had a great time here.
When Coach Nelson said you'd make that switch, it's never fun switching from both sides of the line, probably, but you adapt. When he says, hey, come back to the defensive side, was that like, oh, yeah, I like this?
Yeah, I mean, defense is always fun. You always get to, run around and hit people and, make an impact on a game or on a play. And Nelson, he was just an awesome coach. I mean, rest in peace, he passed away earlier, like this year or last year or whatever. And he was just a great man, and it was easy to play for him. He always put me in the, right position, always believed in me. And, I mean, he had my back from day one. So,
what are you thinking of for options coming up this season in the NFL?
I mean, I'm just open. My agent's just telling me to be patient, wait till after the draft. Maybe stuff will open up for me. But I had a successful 10 years. Like I said, whatever happens, happens. Just pray and just let the chips fall where they may, and just keep working out. And I get that call, do like I've always been doing, is take advantage of that opportunity.
What has the time here meant to you? Because as you progress and get to that point here in the NFL, you're just hit the ground running. You're not reflecting. But did you reflect on your time here? How much did that build into the success, 10-year career and all that?
I mean, yeah. I mean, just the games and just, the Iowa versus Iowa State, and just to know how real rivalry is, and just to be on a real campus and have that real, like, football and college experience. It was awesome. And this, I mean, just coming out here and just coming back and reminiscing, man, it's great. I'm glad they gave me a chance to come back and open their arms, and hopefully I can do it again next year.
That moment